The movie opens with a lawyer named Rachel sitting inside her car as it suddenly comes under heavy gunfire. In a voiceover, Rachel explains that she hunts down corrupt businessmen who hide behind legal loopholes and shell companies. She states that she operates on the thin line between ethics and the law, meaning she is willing to do whatever it takes, even illegal acts, to achieve her noble goals. To explain how Rachel ended up in this situation, the timeline shifts to a man named Braxton. He is riding in a car with a man named Olson. Braxton asks Olson to pull over so he can make an important phone call. Olson complies and steps out of the car. Braxton then orders his own bodyguard, John, to step out as well. Once alone, Braxton calls a woman named Bobby and informs her that he has successfully finalized a debt collection deal with a powerful businessman named Manny. We learn that Bobby is the manager for another massive businessman named Spencer, and she is personally overseeing this deal. Manny owes Spencer a staggering $1 billion, and Braxton is the middleman hired to collect it. Braxton confirms to Bobby that he has Manny's signature on the required documents, is currently on Manny's private island, and is heading straight to the airport. Suddenly, Olson pulls out a gun and coldly executes John, the bodyguard. Terrified, Braxton scrambles into the driver's seat to escape, but realizes Olson has locked the doors and holds the car keys. Olson opens the door, and the moment Braxton steps out, Olson shoots him dead. Olson takes the signed documents from Braxton's body and calls Manny, confirming that everything is handled. Manny is pleased, declaring he will never pay his debts and will kill anyone who tries to force him. Rachel visits Bobby in her office, sharply criticizing her for hiring the incompetent Braxton and not calling her instead. She points out that Braxton wasn't careful enough with Manny, which cost him his life. Rachel explains that Manny has never paid a debt in his life. She offers Bobby a deal. She will extract the $1 billion from Manny in exchange for a 10% cut, $100 million. Bobby eagerly agrees to the deal without even consulting Spencer. Rachel returns to her apartment where she meets Bronco and Sydney, her two most trusted, long-time associates. Rachel explains that Manny is a master at evading the government, utilizing 1,000 faces and numerous forged identities. To take him down, they must operate both inside and outside the law. She divides the tasks. Bronco is in charge of the violence and sabotage team, while Sydney handles bribery, corruption, and undercover surveillance. Rachel reveals the mission is to force Manny to pay Spencer's debt by cornering him legally and illegally. She immediately deploys Sydney to Saudi Arabia, while she and Bronco go to meet Manny's lawyer, William. Rachel meets with William, claiming she wants to invest in Manny's company in Saudi Arabia. Sensing a trap, William gets a note and calls security to throw them out. Instantly, Bronco physically pins William in his chair, giving him an ultimatum: listen to Rachel for 30 seconds or he will need an ambulance. Intimidated by Bronco's ruthless demeanor, William orders his security to stand down. Rachel confronts William, stating she knows Manny scammed Spencer and she is fully aware of all the shell companies where Manny hides his wealth. William warns her that she is playing a game she cannot handle. Rachel ignores his threat, leaves her business card on his desk, and confidently tells him that he will be calling her for help very soon. Rachel's Phase 1 begins. Bronco and his teammate, Baker, travel to Manny's private island to sabotage his operations and set up a hidden base camp. Meanwhile, in Saudi Arabia, Sydney discovers Manny is building a massive hotel that violates licensing conditions. Sydney tips off the Saudi government, halting the project entirely and slapping Manny with a massive fine. Manny begins losing for $1 million every week. William immediately realizes Rachel is behind this. Concurrently, Bronco and Baker arrive at Manny's oil rig, meeting an insider named Javier who supplies them with what they need. Bronco successfully sabotages the oil rig, shutting it down for months and costing Manny $500,000 every single day. A furious Manny meets with William, demanding Rachel be killed immediately. William advises against this, explaining Rachel is heavily protected. If she dies, her legal team will cause an international scandal. Instead, William suggests offering her a $300 million settlement, noting that the rest of Manny's wealth is safely hidden by his accountant, Wolf. Unbeknownst to William, Bronco had previously planted a listening device inside a statue in William's office. Rachel's team overhears the entire conversation and realizes they need to hack Wolf's computer to find the hidden data and blackmail Manny. Through research, they discover Wolf is obsessed with ancient statues and high-stakes backgammon. The team's gadget expert, Gucci, crafts a set of rigged backgammon dice. Sydney poses as a wealthy businessman at a high-end party and starts winning massive amounts of money using the rigged dice. Wolf's assistant informs him about Sydney's winning streak. Intrigued, Wolf challenges Sydney himself. Sydney beats Wolf but strategically refuses the winnings so Wolf won't get suspicious. Sydney agrees to one final $10 round, intentionally loses, and claims he has no cash on him, promising to send Wolf a rare antique from his collection instead. Wolf takes the bait. The next day, Sydney sends Wolf a small, antique statue. Thrilled, Wolf places it in his office, completely unaware it is packed with surveillance equipment. The team hacks Wolf's data, exposes Manny's shell companies to the government, and a judge immediately freezes all of Manny's assets. Panicking, William calls Rachel, offering $300 million in cash. Rachel rejects the offer, demands a face-to-face meeting with Manny, and hangs up. Rachel tells her team that Manny will likely arrange the meeting on his private island. Phase 2 begins. Sydney and Gucci travel to the island, meeting Bronco and the rest of the team at the hidden camp. Javier has supplied them with weapons, explosives, cars, motorcycles, drones, and a getaway helicopter. Bronco explains he chose this camp location because it sits above underground tunnels. He details the escape plan. If the meeting is at the hotel, there is only one extraction route. If it's at the villa, they can escape by sea. They must train rigorously because Manny has a private mercenary army and the local police are on his payroll. They also decide they need eyes inside the local police station to plan a breakout just in case someone gets caught. Danny, Gucci, and Baker head to the north extraction point, while Bronco, Marino, and Sydney practice the hotel escape route. They run high-speed motorcycle drills, practicing how to outrun the police into remote areas. They practice prepping the getaway helicopter, repeating the drill until they can get it airborne in exactly 3 minutes. They practice the west extraction point, which involves crossing a narrow, dangerous mountain valley via zipline, rope and escaping in a waiting car. They meticulously time every action. They also run firearms training to prepare for Manny's men. Baker plants landmines at strategic points on the road, and they dig a massive pit trap, covering it with wooden planks for Manny's pursuing vehicles. To stay one step ahead, they need to bug Manny's hotel room. Bronco and Sydney enter the hotel lobby. Bronco fakes a violent epileptic seizure, falling to the floor. In the ensuing chaos, he steals the master key from the receptionist. Gucci disables the cameras, allowing Bronco and Sydney to sneak in and bug Manny's entire suite. Meanwhile, Marino sabotages the local police cars with tracking, disabling devices. Sydney then intentionally covers himself in alcohol, causes a massive scene outside the police station, and gets arrested. Released the next morning, Sydney meets Bronco and relays that the station has about 30 officers and a heavily stocked armory. Furthermore, as he walked out, Sydney reveals he successfully hacked the police security system using his phone. They are now fully prepared to rescue Rachel if needed. Rachel arrives on the island. Sydney picks her up and gives her a special watch with a panic button, telling her to press it if she is ever in danger. Rachel has a brief flashback to when she first met Bronco and Sydney, rescuing them from spending the rest of their lives in prison. Manny arrives at the hotel. Over the bugs, Gucci hears Manny and William planning to cap the deal at $400 million and warns Rachel. Rachel, Bronco, and Sydney enter the meeting room. Manny arrogantly ignores them while William offers $350 million. Rachel strictly demands the full $1 billion. Manny steps in, offers $400 million, and complains she crossed a line by freezing his private jet and yacht. Rachel coldly states she only wants the principal debt, no interest, no fees. Manny refuses her terms. Rachel immediately walks out with her men. On the road, Rachel asks to stop at a diner for a drink to calm her nerves. She and Bronco go inside, while Sydney waits in the car, asking Gucci to monitor the area via drone. Gucci's drone spots Manny's men converging on the diner. To enter the front, to sneak around back, and to sit outside, Sydney and the team quickly surround the building. Inside, the two men draw their weapons, but Bronco is faster and shoots them dead. Simultaneously, Sydney and Baker breach the kitchen and eliminate the assassins in the back. They grab Rachel, shove her into the getaway car, and speed off. Olsen reports the failed assassination to William. Rachel receives a call from her associate Glover, who says Manny is actively moving his assets. She orders Glover to link those assets directly to Manny's secret shell companies. Rachel's legal team secures a court order seizing all of Manny's money and freezing his properties. Manny's men finally tear Wolf's office apart and find the bug, but it's too late. All the major companies are seized. Realizing Rachel orchestrated everything, Manny demands to meet her at the hotel. He offers $800 million. Rachel insists on the full $1 billion, revealing she knows exactly how he scams his other investors. She threatens to leak his files to all the investors he robbed, which would cost him far more than $1 billion. Cornered, Manny finally agrees to transfer the $1 billion within 24 hours, but begs her to unfreeze his private jet and yacht. Rachel agrees, leaves, and calls Bobby, telling her the mission is accomplished and the money is transferring. She instructs Bobby to release Manny's jet and yacht once the funds clear. Bobby agrees. 3 months pass. Rachel is hiding in a desert tent. She calls Bobby because she still hasn't received her $100 million cut, but Bobby ignores the call. Rachel spots an unknown car approaching. She calls for her guard but finds him dead on the ground. Terrified, she runs back to the tent only to find her female friend murdered as well. Olsen pulls up behind Rachel and orders her into the car. Before complying, Rachel secretly presses the panic button on her watch. That night, Bronco and Sydney storm Bobby's office, furiously blaming her for Rachel's kidnapping because Bobby never unfroze Manny's assets. Agreed. Bobby claims she is processing the paperwork and everyone will get what they want soon. Bronco and Sydney threaten her to fix it immediately or they will handle her themselves. The next day, Manny visits Rachel inside his private island prison. He boasts that the local police are under his control and she will never leave until he gets his properties back. Rachel explains she was betrayed by Bobby too. Manny threatens to kill her in the cell if she doesn't find a way to make Bobby comply. Meanwhile, Bronco, Sydney, and the team arrive on the island. Disguised as police officers and driving a stolen squad car, Bronco and Sydney infiltrate the station, easily take down the armory guard, load up on weapons, fight their way to the holding cells, and free Rachel. A massive shootout erupts inside the station. Reinforcements arrive, surrounding the building. Baker detonates explosives on the rear wall, allowing Rachel, Bronco, and Sydney to escape into their waiting car. A fierce high-speed pursuit begins. The team takes the specific route they trained for. Sydney detonates the buried landmines, destroying the pursuing police cars. However, Manny's men deploy a drone carrying explosives. As Rachel's team reaches the extraction helicopter, the drone drops the bomb, destroying the chopper and killing Danny. We now return to the exact moment from the start of the film. Rachel is inside the car, covering her ears amidst the chaos. Her team opens fire on the incoming vehicles. Sydney shoots a gas tank, causing a massive explosion that wipes out Manny's frontline men. The team splits between the car and motorcycles, taking the secondary escape route. Manny's pursuing vehicles crash straight into the hidden wooden pit trap. The team reaches the safe house, but Manny's men launch a devastating, heavy fire assault, tearing the house apart. Baker wires the entire perimeter with explosives, orders the team to flee, and heroically sacrifices himself, detonating the safe house and taking Manny's men down with him. Rachel and the survivors reach the canyon zipline, cross over the valley one by one, jump into the backup car, and speed toward the ocean. Suddenly, Olsen appears overhead in a helicopter, raining gunfire down on them. Bronco and Sydney fire a rocket launcher, blowing Olsen and the helicopter out of the sky. Rachel successfully escapes the island on a boat. Bronco and Sydney stay behind on the island for one final mission. Disguised as paramedics, they sneak into Manny's private residence. When Manny arrives, they ambush him, inject him with a heavy sedative, place him on a medical stretcher, and wheel him right out the front door. Sometime later, US police open a shipping container at a port and find Manny inside. Manny desperately tries to deny his identity, giving them a fake name. Meanwhile, Rachel visits Bobby in her office, sharply telling her that she owes a late fee for delaying her money. Bobby is confused. Rachel drops the ultimate bombshell. Manny has been arrested by the authorities. Because Spencer funded Manny's illegal shell companies, Spencer is now going to take the fall for all of Manny's crimes. Naturally, Spencer will blame Bobby for the entire disaster. Bobby stares in disbelief, but Rachel tells her that Spencer will be calling her in just a few seconds to confirm it. The moment Rachel walks out of the office, Bobby's phone rings. Make sure to subscribe to the Cinemax Swift channel for more movies.